Pastor Ed here with Daily Devotions for Thursday, January the 25th, 2024. I'm going to continue talking about selfishness, self-centeredness, kind of in a different direction in terms of that first reading from this past Sunday, 2 Corinthians 4, 5 through 7. I'm going to read that in just a second and kind of how all this fits into things. That reading goes like this: For we do not proclaim ourselves, we proclaim Jesus Christ as Lord, and ourselves as your slaves for Jesus' sake. For it is the God who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," who's shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. But we have this treasure in clay jars, so that it may be made clear that this extraordinary power belongs to God and does not come from us. That 2 Corinthians 4 verse 5 is one of my favorite verses. This was the lesson that I preached on the very first time. I was a seminary student when I came back to Hope. I don't even want to count the years ago. And in the old, the NRSV, you just heard, "For we do not proclaim ourselves, we proclaim Jesus Christ as Lord." The old RSV used to say, "For what we preach is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord." We don't preach about ourselves. It's not about us. I talked a little bit about the movie Groundhog Day, another favorite movie of a lot of people. My kids really enjoyed it years ago, is Toy Story. And one of the characters in the movie Toy Story, if you recall, was named Buzz Lightyear. And he was a new toy to Andy, the young boy's room. He's an astronaut, Buzz that is, with a lot of neat things that are attached to him. And he comes into the other toys' lives thinking that there are no other Buzz Lightyears around. He is the only one. And Woody, who was the voice by Tom Hanks, the cowboy toy and Andy's favorite, tries to convince Buzz that he's only a toy and he's not the character that he says he is. Well, in the course of the story, Buzz and Woody find themselves next door at Sid's house, a little boy who likes to blow up toys. And during an attempted escape, Buzz runs into a room in which we find Sid's dad sound asleep in a chair with the beer in his hand and his TV on. And Buzz walks into the room at the very moment an Al's Toy Barn commercial comes on about Buzz Lightyear's on sale. And as he watches the commercial, he begins to realize that he's not who he thinks he is. He walks out of the room in a state of shock and dismay. To the top of the upstairs landing, he deploys his wings, and in what turns out to be a final attempt to prove that he is, in fact, Buzz Lightyear by trying to fly. And he sails in the air, first thinking that he can, and then as the action is placed in slow motion, you watch the expression on his face change to a grimness that fades as he falls to the bottom of the landing. And as he lands, one of his arms comes off, and the camera pulls back to a shot of Buzz lying there on one of the bottom steps and looking at this other arm on another step. He's broken, cannot fix himself. And of course, one of the painful realities of life is that we're no different. We cannot fix ourselves, despite the illusion that we can, in fact, do that, fix one another. We are broken, and we're in need of a repair that we cannot make. And only Jesus can. New Testament scholar N.T. Wright once said, why did Christianity arise? Why did it take the shape that it did? The early Christians themselves reply, we exist because of Jesus' resurrection. There's no evidence to a form of early Christianity in which the resurrection was not a central belief, nor was this belief, as it were, bolted onto Christianity at the edge. It was the central driving force informing the whole movement. The resurrection of Jesus Christ is what makes it possible for us to be repaired. We can't do that. We didn't do that. Pastor Rick Warren, the recently retired pastor of Saddleback Church out in California, once wrote a devotional entitled, "It's Not About You." And he writes, the more you lead a self-focused life, the more you're prone to discouragement. Every time you forget that it's not about you, you're going to get prideful or fearful or bitter. Those feelings will always lead to discouragement because they always keep you focused on yourself. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians 4:5, this is a different translation, our message is not about ourselves, it's about Jesus Christ as Lord. We are your servants for his sake. It's not about you, says Warren. God put you on this earth. He has a message he wants to declare to the world through you, but your life message is not about you. It's about Jesus Christ. I chose those 4 words, says Warren. It's not about you to start The Purpose-Driven Life, his great best-selling book, because that's the most countercultural message that you could give in today's world. Nearly everything in society, songs, video games, TV shows, news stories, advertisement says you've got to think about yourself first. Sometimes I wish I hadn't put that sentence in the book because I had no idea that for the rest of my life, I was going to be constantly tested on that phrase. I have to repeat it to myself 20 times a day. When someone praises me, criticizes me, misjudges me, disagrees with me, I have to remind myself it's not about me. Why? Because when I focus on me, I'm going to get discouraged. Instead, as Paul says in today's verse, we are servants for Jesus' sake. That means we're motivated to serve others because of what Jesus has done for us. God is always more interested, he says, in why you're doing what you're doing than he is on what you're actually doing. He cares about the motivations of your heart. Why you're doing something always determines how long you're going to do it. If you're motivated by selfish ambition, that'll never be good enough. You'll eventually get discouraged and quit. But when you're motivated to do something because of how it advances the gospel and glorifies Jesus, you'll always have encouragement. You need to see it through. For what we preach is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord. It's not about us. Well, I hope you have a great day. We'll be back again tomorrow with another daily devotion. Till then, take care. Bye.